The following is a presentation of Tuning into Sci-Fi TV, the viewer's guide to genre television.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Small Council Matters podcast. I am Wendy Hembrock, and our council is back in session, getting ready for House of the Dragon Season 3. And first, we're going to go around the table and have our maesters introduce themselves, please.
Hey, everybody. This is Shannon out in Vancouver, Washington. Hello, and welcome back to coverage of Season 3 of House of the Dragon.
This is Christine from Michigan, your mistress of correction. Sunfire is dead.
This is Jesse Jackson from Dallas, Texas, at Jesse Jackson DFW on Twitter, and it is good to be back with the Small Council.
And I am Wendy, maester of gathering up the other maesters this week to bring everyone back together again. I don't have a good quip tonight. I'm probably too late in the day for that. But welcome to our discussion. This is our pregame show full of predictions for what's going to come in Season 3 for House of the Dragon, which premieres very soon, Sunday, June 21st. And we are going to Green Sea tonight and make some predictions. Maybe some dragon delusions might come out too. Maybe some dragon dreams. You never know. We'd love to hear from you. So send us your Ravens comments, thoughts. You can reach us on social media at SCM_pod on X Twitter. We're also at Tuning Into Sci-Fi on that same channel. We have a link in the show notes where you can leave us a voicemail, which we always love to hear your voice. You can also call us the old-fashioned way, 706-927-8478. We'd love to hear from you as the season continues on. And we just have a couple of news links we want to maybe briefly talk about before we get into talking about our thoughts on Season 3. The first is a link to the official final Season 3 trailer, which I thought was awesome in terms of the epic scale that we are going to expect to find. And we also have a link to a spoiler-free review. Many of the major sites that cover the Game of Thrones universe got to look at the first 4 episodes and provide some comments. I have not read that because I kind of wanted to say, even though it said spoiler-free, I really wanted to stay spoiler-free because we were going to have a discussion with predictions, so I didn't read that one. But what have you guys been thinking so far about trailers and early reviews?
I agree, Wendy. That was a terrific final trailer. I thought the teaser trailers leading up were also very effective. It seems like after the kind of tease at the end of Season 2 that left us all feeling somewhat unsatisfied with the way it ended. They wanted to make sure they knew that they were putting the money up on the screen and were coming out of the gate running. The trailers support that. And not only the Hollywood Reporter review that you posted in the show notes, but there was also, I read several other advanced reviews where people seem to say the same thing, that it definitely hits the ground running and doesn't skimp on the action. And so, it bodes well for this season. I know we're kind of in the same boat with the limited number of issues, and we know for sure that it's ending with Season 4. And there's a lot of things to get through depending on where they end the story. But I'm psyched for it. And it seems like the critics were pretty uniform in saying, Season 3 kicks it into high gear. So, I'm looking forward to it.
So this is the final trailer. Final, for real. I think I saw at least 3 different trailers, but I will say this about the trailers. They usually, reuse a lot of the same scenes for each new trailer they put out. These actually seem to have a lot of different content, and that was nice to see. This one, the last one I felt got a little too spoilery for my taste. I think it, well, maybe it's because, there are a lot of the same fears coming from comments online, and maybe they wanted to make sure everybody knew they weren't going to be making the same mistakes. So maybe that's why they put out that last trailer with that kind of content. Which kind of leads me straight into that, spoiler-free review from the Hollywood Reporter. This particular person had comments on the first 2 seasons, how it had a tendency to start to provide something really hot, it's really cooking, and then immediately give you cooler episodes, right after that. So, they, were really getting sick of that pattern, and we're starting to see a little bit of a change with these first 4 episodes, and also stated that the 3rd episode, and to a lesser degree, the 4th episode, are the best episodes, of the show to date. So I'm looking forward to that, and I like to see, where this season is going. It feels like it's going to be a little different than it's getting good. Calm down.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the trailer. I am going in here with a little bit of I don't want to say show me or a chip on my shoulder, but, the last series we discussed, The Night of the Seven Kingdoms, was so well done in a smaller story with really interesting characters and a nice, I hate to say simple, but a fairly straightforward story. And it was just really a lovely experience watching it and, talking about it each week with you guys. And so, we're now going into this where this is grandeur, where you have a cast of dozens and everyone's trying to have enough, screen time and everything. So I'm optimistic it's going to be good, but I'm a little bit just concerned that is it going to live up to the hype, and are we going to get those character moments that make for great storytelling? Yes, I love the dragons and I love the special effect, but I'm always, about this drama that we're seeing in those character moments, and I'm just hoping we get them.
I'm gonna take a slight tangent because of what Jesse said. I was thinking about criticism that there was for Monarch Legacy on Apple TV, where in season 1, and it was, where's Godzilla? Where are the monsters, right? And then in season 2, every episode, there's absolutely titans everywhere. But I was a major critic of season 2 in terms of this whole backstory story and this trope of everyone's got to have buried secrets. It's like, we can move on from that. We don't need to hang our whole story on that. So as I was listening to Jesse, I was thinking about, in the past, it's been more dragons, more battle. About this show, House of the Dragon, because there's apparently a lot of battles, it's a long war. And, I hope that we will get sufficient of the cool special effects with the dragons, but those character moments, it could be the rider with their dragon. It could be a couple of people, either amongst some of our favorite characters or not. I just have a feeling that Condal knows that those pieces of his success. The part that I'm concerned about is spending a lot of time with characters that are getting introduced this season and making me care about them. So they definitely are going to have to do some work there. Otherwise, I personally have been very Team Black up to this point, and I'm going to be curious if the story and the character moments are able to make me change my mind about that at all as this war progresses. And that trailer made me think that, at least in the beginning, it's going to be the takeover of King's Landing and the, at least in the beginning, the ascendancy of Rhaenyra. But who knows how the tide might turn. So I'm very much looking forward to it. And I'm really intrigued now when Christine says that these critics are saying these are some of the best episodes ever in this series. That's definitely raised my bar slightly. So that might be a mistake on their part by saying that. They should have pulled their punch potentially. But it's probably all good news based on, I'm going to go with what we saw on the trailer and hope that that is all in the first 3 or 4 episodes, and that bodes well for our overall season.
Wendy, what I'm hearing from you is, what you want to see out of this show is Thanos in the writing room, balance above all things.
Yes,
is he a writer?
yes.
Can we get him in there? Or at least, keep them on track with the balance thing? Maybe he can have like a spreadsheet and make sure everything's working out. Get those character moments and the battle stuff, the dragons, but also the dog.
Absolutely.
Can we get the dog back? Is the dog coming back?
Yeah, or another dog, or proxy of a dog, for the dog. So we kind of just talked about the trailer. I want to pivot now towards your general thoughts going into the season, expectations, irrespective of trailer and other things, knowing that we're going to have a season 3 and a season 4, and we're going to be done.
I'm sure we'll cover some of the expectations and our predictions for the season. But I'm expecting to get through, cause as regular listeners know, I've read the books and I know where this particular chapter ends. However, there's a lot of different places for what they call the Dance of the Dragons where the television show could end. There are several stopping points that would make for a satisfying conclusion. And as of now, having not watched it, I don't know which one they're going to pick, so I just want to make sure that, I'd like to see a coherent season that holds together with great individual episodes, but that feels like we've, completed a full chapter at the end of season 8, and then sets us up for one final run of 8, maybe more, but probably 8, episodes, that concludes the saga. So, at the end of last year, we talked about in that finale how if you read between the lines, between all the comments from Condell and Casey Bloys at HBO and everybody else, they were kind of tap dancing around the fact that it was a question of man hours and budget and everything else, that they just couldn't get to that next story point, which I think it's not a spoiler to say was the Battle of the Gullet. That we never got to the fireworks factory for the end of season 2. So I hope it doesn't leave us in a situation like that. It sounds like everybody's being careful to say that we won't be like that without denigrating season 2 or the powers that be, but to say, yeah, we've kind of planned for how this story is going to play out. And so I hope that's very satisfying. So I expect that it will look great. And this cast that we adore will all continue to deliver Emmy-worthy and world-class performances and will be massively entertained.
So Shannon, you bring up that there's several points in the book where they could end this story, and it's, a question of how far into it they're going to go. I look at it from the storytelling perspective of a television show. In a book, especially this one in particular, that isn't written from any of the characters' point of views. It's written as a history book, as someone who is gathering histories as a third-person point of view. There's no characters to latch onto. The whole point of the book is the history and the back and forth dance of this house struggle. The War of the Roses, but a fictional version. But in this show, and much with any show, people latch onto characters, very specific characters, and they have really pumped up a few characters. And it makes me think that there's going to be some deviation from the book, especially because they've really leaned heavily into the idea that history isn't always the truth. And this story was told from a unreliable narrator. That gives them the chance for some wiggle room. We've already seen them use that wiggle room. So I feel like they may not kill people when they would have died in the book. They may do some fudging of history in that respect. I think people may not go where they supposedly went according to history. So I feel like I really feel like Rhaenyra and Alicent are really the focus here, and that they're probably gonna be like where their story ends is where this story is gonna end. The trailer says to me that this season Rhaenyra will be getting King's Landing back sooner rather than later. And then the bulk of the season will be her trying to prove that she's the correct ruler. It will be her trying to rule and trying to hold on to her rule while her enemy is working in the background to overthrow her. They aren't shying away from the big battle on the water, which I'm assuming is the Battle of the Gullet that you talked about. And I think that's what's going to happen in episode 3. Cause I think that's one of those really hot points that they were building up to in season 2 that they just couldn't get to because it's so costly. Obviously, they have to deliver that this season, and since we got so close to it last season, we're going to get it really early here. So I wonder really what the big build-up at the end, the cliffhanger to get you to want to watch the next season is going to be. What's that point going to be about? And I think we might touch on that when we get into our predictions, because, deaths tend to come closer to the end of the season. But I guess we'll see.
I've already talked about my request or my hoping for a lot of character moments. The positive side of me is that I trust these showrunners. They've given us 2 strong seasons and a great entertaining story. The negative side of me is we're adding new characters, and every new character you get means there's less time for the characters that we want to spend time with. And that is frustrating. And I get maybe why, you need to bring these others, but that gets frustrating, like last year, or last season, right, with the Dragon Riders, right, where we end up finding, out that these people, possibly have blood and they're able to do this, and where I want to get back to this royal family, both royal family, and spend time with them. I echo everyone else's thoughts on if I had, one overriding hope is that we get a really strong season with a satisfying ending, that maybe a cliffhanger, maybe a quiet before the storm, but you go, okay, great. This was a solid, enjoyable season, and now I can't wait for the next, versus like, what? It feels like, okay, I had a stock clock, and whether everything's ready or not, I've got to stop, versus riding to that ending. So, for this season.
Yeah, I mean, I want a Dany builds a fire pit and emerges with 3 dragons. I want a Cersei burns down King's Landing. I want something like that to be the setup for what would be the final chapter of the war. The one thing I'm really curious about, and I know that there's been criticism by the book readers because Condal has manufactured all these ways to have Alicent and Rhaenyra have conversations, which apparently in the books they are no longer in communication at this point in the war. So I'm going to be really curious, assuming that the beginning of this season is the initial siege of King's Landing and eventually they take it, Is Alicent under house arrest? Is Alicent, down in the dungeon whispering things to Rhaenyra? How does that work? And, Christine was alluding to this. It's like, you have to rule, but you also have to keep winning the war, because the war isn't going to be over just because she took King's Landing. And that, to me, is the story that they've chosen to focus on. It's really that question of, is Rhaenyra really the rightful ruler? Is she the right choice? I talked earlier about, I've been backing Team Black. Did I make a mistake? And I hope that that's a question we might see get explored from many different angles. The one thing that, this war is going on. It's generational, is my understanding about the books. And certainly, we saw that from Rhaenyra's father. So I'm curious if we'll get more perspective of the non-Targaryen, non-Greens perspective. The small folk who might be getting trampled. My understanding from the casting is we're going to get some Starks in the mix. That could make for some really awkward conversation about doing the right thing or not. The Starks, they sometimes want to bring up those kinds of things, which are not always convenient for others. We've got some Lannisters around as well, supporting the Greens. So in the larger war, I'm curious about how they sort of set up those pieces. And in season 2, we had, Rhaenyra's council getting built out, and it was sort of filled with old white dudes who didn't want to listen to that upstart girl. And now we have Aemond. He's got problems. He's maybe going crazy, power mad, not sure how good his grip is on his small council, and the possibility of Aegon's return and, what Helena forecasted in her vision. So, and then the other wild card for me is Daemon, because, is Daemon ever happy when he actually gets what he wants? Is it ever good enough for that guy? So I think there's actually a very good potential for us to see some interesting character development for our main characters, and that story piece. But I hear your concern, Jesse, about introducing a lot of other people that we're not as interested in. The Dragon Riders, I liked Adam, but, I'm not sure. When we get to predictions, I'm not sure what to me, they're cannon fodder to fill in the time until, someone like Daemon ultimately gets taken out in some epic fight, which my hope is that's not until the final season, just because I enjoy that character so much. So I wandered around a little bit with my answer on that one, but going back to Christine's point, I do think that the story next year will end however things end for Rhaenyra. Rhaenyra primarily, and then Alicent story will also get wrapped up too. Any additional thoughts, comments people wanted to discuss around that before we move on to predictions?
Just one thing before we get into predictions. Wendy, you mentioned inventing scenes. And as a book reader, the last couple seasons of Game of Thrones, when they were completely off book, didn't meet with a lot of people's satisfaction. However, I will say, like some of the earlier ones, like there was a scene with Robert and Cersei. That was one of the best things they ever did. you know, and then you mentioned the two Rhaenyra and Alicent scenes that were not from the text in season 2, once at the Sept and once at Dragonstone. And again, I thought those were just utterly fantastic, terrific character moments, impeccably acted. So when they go off book, I don't know about for the larger saga, but in those little moments, to me, that shows that they get the characters, and I really look forward to those. So that was the only thing I wanted to add there.
Yeah, I do want to comment about going off book. I don't know how many times I'm going to bring this up. Obviously, the bulk of the internet isn't listening to our podcast, so they're going to keep saying the same things, but this book wasn't written from the characters' point of views. It's written by somebody who wasn't alive during any of this. He's gathering what was written down. And in a few instances, from what I've been told, because I still haven't read the book and I wanted to leave it like that, but he has conflicting points of view in historical documents. Like, you've got letters or diaries from people, and they literally disagree with each other, and there's no way of proving one over the other. That there's only what is written down for what he had to go on to tell this story in this history. That is the book everyone's referring to. So when Rhaenyra and Alicent have a secret meeting, no one wrote that down. Most people didn't even know it happened.
Exactly.
So it's not really inventing something where it didn't exist in the book. It is filling in the gaps. Because to be honest, there aren't word for word conversations in that book. There is assumptions or what someone recalled and then wrote it down later. I mean, they can literally change everything that was in that book just slightly, or even a lot. Because, I mean, we had a Valerian who's supposed to be dead, and we know he's alive because we saw it. But his own parents thought he was dead. Pretty much everyone thought. There's like 3 people who knew he lived through that. And one of them left with him. So, and what would be written in the histories is that he died there, and what we saw was perfectly plausible to go with that history. And I think they can continue to do that. Just like my problem with Sunfire. I know in the history that Sunfire comes back later. But what's been said in 3 different cases during season 2 was that Sunfire is dead. In the last episode, Aegon literally says the words, "My dragon is dead." And there's supposed to be some sort of connection between a dragon rider and his dragon. Maybe the physical damage he suffered severed that connection? I don't know. But I also know that dragon was quite large, and it would be difficult to move and difficult to hide. And I'm sure someone would see it and rumors would spread. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they kept saying he was dead so they could really surprise us in season 3 or season 4. I don't know how long it's going to take. Or maybe they get a different dragon and claim it's Sunfire, because wouldn't that make a great story for all the masses to hear? And wouldn't that make a great story to put in the history books? I don't know. I know that we heard that Larys was taking Aegon to Essos. They were going to flee King's Landing and go to Essos, but apparently what they did in the history book was pose as peasants and go to Dragonstone. I don't see Aegon changing Larys's mind about where they're going. So did they flee the country? See, that would be bad in a history book to hear that their king fled the country when there's a war going on and the people were suffering. So maybe he went undercover in Dragonstone instead. That sounds like a much better story to tell. This is the wiggle room I'm talking about. You can put anything you want down in the history books, but the truth may be very different.
That's a really good point, Christine. Thank you for reminding us of that. Okay, let's put on our Green Seer clothes and let's do some predictions. So Shannon, of course, who has read the book, went together. And I'm laughing for those listening because Christine just put on a little thing on her head that honestly reminded me of the Queen of Thorns when she said, "I want Cersei to know it was me."
Could also be, if you're old enough, Karnak the Magnificent. In terms of predictions.
Yes,
so, okay,
absolutely.
Well, let me get this started here.
Jesse's holding a card up to his forehead right now.
Exactly. All right, so we have 27 characters to go through and 12 dragons to go through. So the way we're going to do this is we'll quickly say yes or no. Do they live to the end of the television season 3? And then if you want to, in a second round after that, are there any predictions you have for that character? You don't have to have one. You can make one if you want. We'll record them. I'll update the spreadsheet throughout the season. And then in our postseason wrap-up show, I'll provide the tallies and award a prize to who was the most accurate green seer of our 3 maesters. So without further ado, let's get started with Rhaenyra Targaryen. Christine.
Live.
Will she live to the end of the season?
Obviously.
Yes? Okay. Jesse.
Yes, and we don't give our predictions now. We wait till the next round.
Let's just do these real quick.
Okay.
And Wendy.
Yes.
Rhaenyra lives.
Okay. All right. Now, Christine, do you have any predictions for Rhaenyra?
It's tied to another character, so I will save it.
Okay. Jesse.
I'm not going to save it. She loses another son.
You're not going to say that, or you are going to say that?
I am not going to wait. I am saying she loses another son. That's my prediction.
Okay. Loses a son. And Wendy.
I am going to predict that she loses a couple of children. So those could be the stepchildren or her natural.
Okay. Loses 2 kids. Okay. Alicent Hightower, Christine.
Live. Which I changed right while we were talking earlier.
Okay. Jesse.
Lives.
And Wendy.
Alicent lives.
Okay. Any predictions, Christine?
I'm going to save it again because this is all tied to the same character.
Okay. Jesse.
The over and under of episodes where she lights candles is 3. So then I'm going over. So I'm picking the over.
Over 3 episodes where she lights a candle. Excellent. Okay. Wendy.
Well, since Jesse gave that one, I'm going to say that she has 2 clandestine conversations with Rhaenyra.
Pulling my prediction from last season.
Okay. Daemon Targaryen. Christine.
Okay, so this is the one I swapped for Alicent. Mostly based on the conversation in the trailer, where Alicent is telling her that this is what she meant. She was going to have to do something terrible. I think Daemon is going to die and Rhaenyra will have to put him to death. And Alicent will be the one to push this advice to her, to encourage her to do it for the good of the realm.
Okay, so Rhaenyra puts Alicent, or puts Daemon to death.
Correct.
Okay. Jesse.
Yes, he will be alive at the end of the season.
And Wendy.
I hope he will be alive at the end of the season. I fear greatly, but I'll say yes, he lives.
Okay. Christine predicted Rhaenyra will have to kill him. Jesse, any predictions for Daemon?
He will piss off Rhaenyra.
Oh, come on. That's
I
the
feel
free
that's the
space
same
on the
bet.
bingo card.
You know what?
Hey, there are no rules.
That's not a prediction.
They said, I'm just saying, it's open. I'm taking it. He's going to piss off Rhaenyra.
Okay. Wendy.
Yeah, actually, I think that Daemon may commit war crimes.
Oh, she found a second free space.
Create.
All right, she sees the layout. She's making it.
War crimes with backlash. Okay.
Yep.
Next we have Aemond One Eye.
I want him to die so much, so I believe he will live.
Okay. Jesse.
Yeah, I believe he will live.
And Wendy.
He lives.
Okay. Any predictions for Aemond?
Oh, maybe I should go for another free space. He'll be a dick. Anyway, I gotta be more specific than that, right? He will kill a lot of innocent people. Like, people not even in the battle, like, townsfolk. There we go.
Kill innocent small folk. All right. Jesse.
No, I think he's going to continue keeping the throne, and when there's a chance for him to, like, he should give up the power, he's not going to.
Won't relinquish power. Okay. Wendy.
Well, we know he's on his way to Harrenhal, and I hope that he gets ghosted in a similar fashion, driven crazy by the ghosts of Harrenhal, or possibly the witch that lives there.
Wendy adding a new definition to the word ghosted.
Aegon Targaryen, the current ruler who is traveling around.
Mr. Deep Fried?
Yes, exactly.
I believe he will die.
Okay. Jesse.
He will die.
And Wendy.
He will die.
Christine, do you have a prediction for Aegon?
I just think that his death will be toward the end of the season. It will not happen fast.
Okay. And Jesse, do you have one for him?
Yeah, Aemon is going to kill him. He will be killed by his brother. So I guess that's a double, prediction. But yeah, his younger brother will kill him.
Yeah, I think just to clarify the scorekeeping, like for Christine and what you just said, Jesse, if it involves two characters, I'll put it for one, and we'll just count it as one prediction, true or false, depending on how it plays out.
I just wanted to save my prediction for, like, all the characters included,
Yeah, sounds good.
I do think that Aegon will, for a very brief moment, get his crown back before he dies.
Well, he has
This was Helena's prediction.
He has the crown. So do you mean like he will sit on the Iron Throne? Is that more accurate?
Yeah, he'll be, yes.
Okay. Okay. Otto Hightower, who we last saw in a cage.
He'll die.
Jesse.
He'll die.
And Wendy.
Dead.
That was unanimous.
Christine, any predictions for Otto?
No, not really. I just feel like he's old, and the last time we saw him, he wasn't looking good. I don't think he can survive this just out of sheer
Jesse,
age.
Anything specific for Otto?
I think he's going to be poisoned.
Oh, okay. And Wendy.
Nope, I got nothing for Otto.
Okay. Corlys Valerian. Christine.
I'm really mean about this. Like, he's gonna live to see everyone in his family die first. So he's gonna live.
And so he will make it to the end of the
Yes.
season. Okay. Jesse.
I say he's going to die.
And Wendy.
He's going down with his ship.
Okay. Christine, any predictions?
Just that he's gonna have it rough this season. He will lose more family, whether they are acknowledged or bastards.
Okay. Jesse?
Yeah, I know this is very generic, but I think he will die in a battle, and so I think it's going to be like going down with his ship, as Wendy said.
Okay. Wendy, do you want to do the same one?
Yeah, I think he is going to die in battle, and I think he is going to, try to, fight to the end, go down with his men. And I hope he does it trying to save his son, and I can't remember which one is which. But the one who's the sea guy.
Adam.
I hope he lives, Adam, because of Corliss's efforts.
Okay. Everyone's favorite, Kristen Cole.
Another character that I really, really want to die, and I'm so pessimistic that, of course, he'll continue to live.
Jesse.
I'm going to say dead.
Okay. Wendy.
I'm gonna say he lives.
Okay. Christine, any predictions for?
Yes. Last we saw him, he was really depressed and on a downswing. This will not change, and he may become suicidal in battle.
Okay. Jesse.
I think he's roasted by a dragon. He's going to be burned alive.
Okay. And
Ooh,
Wendy.
isn't that his fear?
Yeah, so I like where your mind's going, Jesse. I just don't think that's going to happen until next season. But I do think his PTSD is going to cost them in battle.
Okay. Interesting prediction there.
Similar, but different.
Helena. The lovely Helena.
Oh, live.
Live.
Jesse.
Live.
And Wendy.
I think she's dead.
Oh, okay.
She's going to die.
Christine, a prediction.
No, I'll leave that to Helena.
Excellent answer.
You're not going to take the layup. She's going to give a prediction no one understands.
Oh, come on. Low-hanging fruit.
Got it. Wendy.
I think she's going to predict her own death, and it is caused by her brother Aemon.
Okay. Bela Targaryen.
Die.
Lives.
Dies.
Okay. Christine, any predictions for Bela?
Yeah, she'll die in battle on Dragonback.
I say she's going to lose Jace, and then she'll destroy the enemy in a grief-filled attack. She will just
Ooh.
burn them all down.
Are
Okay.
you
Wendy.
fridging Jace?
I agree that she will go down swinging in battle on her dragon.
Okay. Rhaena.
Live.
Dies.
Lives.
Okay. Any predictions for Rhaena?
I'm gonna say she goes kind of crazy. I think she was already a little crazy, but crazier.
I'm going to say she's going to end up dying because she has an untrained dragon, and she's not trained. So that's going to end up causing her death.
Okay.
Interesting.
Wendy.
I think that she's going to be a surprise appearance to save one of the Targaryens because she appears with her new dragon.
Surprised to save family with new dragon.
Yes.
Speaking of Jace, what about Jacaerys?
I'm on the fence about this, but I'm gonna go with Liv because we want to keep the young girl demographic watching the show.
Jesse.
Dies.
And Wendy.
I think he dies.
Okay. Any predictions?
No.
He dies sacrificing to save Bela.
I think Aemon kills him.
Little shout out for Jesse's new book coming out this November, Tragic Love Stories.
Okay, what about she of the fluctuating accent, Mysaria?
I think it's French, but I think she'll live.
Okay.
I think she'll live.
And I agree, she will live.
Okay. Any predictions for the Mistress of Whispers?
Ooh, this just popped into my head. I'm gonna say a sex scene with Rhaenyra. Yeah.
That was my prediction as well. So I have it down. Has love affair with Rhaena. Yes, the sex scene. You will see them in a bed together naked.
Okay. And Wendy.
Interesting. I like your predictions. It's not my prediction, but I could agree that probably will happen. So now I have no prediction for Miss Harriet.
Okay, so OnlyFans in Westeros. There we go. What about Laris Strong?
On the subject of OnlyFans,
Yeah, exactly.
the foot fetish over here. Another character that really, really needs to die, so he will live.
Jesse
Lives.
and Wendy.
He lives.
Okay. Any predictions?
No.
Once again, a layoff. He will do something that all four of us will be disgusted by.
I think he'll betray Aegon.
Oh, okay.
I like that one. That's good.
Okay. Now we have our mud wrestling champion, Jason Lannister.
Actually, Tylan's the mud wrestling.
Oh, no. The Master of Coin, rather, is Jason Lannister.
I think he's just the Lord of Castle Rock.
Is he? So the Tyland was the Master of Coin who went to the trial.
Yes.
Okay, so Jason, yes, just the Lord of Casterly Rock.
It's that identical twin thing. This is the douche that tried to court Rhaenyra and it didn't work. So he's gonna die. Yeah.
Okay.
Jesse? I say live.
And Wendy.
I'm gonna say die.
All right. Any predictions for Jason?
Yes, he will die quickly and ridiculously.
I got nothing.
Yeah, he's cannon fodder.
Okay. Now, Tyland Lannister.
The serious one.
The mud wrestling champion of Tyrosh.
Yes.
Dies.
He just wanted a shower.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
I'm sorry, dies.
No, what did you say, Christine? I missed that. I'm sorry.
Oh, he just wanted a shower.
So he's living till the end of the season?
Yeah, I said he'd live.
Okay. Okay. Jesse?
Yeah.
Dies.
And Wendy?
Tyland is gonna die.
Okay. Any predictions for Tyland?
He will get a nice warm bath.
He'll be killed with an arrow.
Interesting. Okay. And Wendy?
No, I have no prediction for him.
That was so specific.
Captain Lohard, the fleet commander of the Triarchy Navy, who is with Tyland.
Pronouns he, him. He will die.
I think he'll die as well.
All right. And Wendy?
Yep. Also die.
Okay. Any predictions there?
I think during the Battle of the Gullet.
Okay.
Yeah, he'll die by a sword by someone. They're storming the ship, and he'll die in a sword fight on the ship.
And Wendy?
I think Adam's gonna kill him.
Okay. Gwaine Hightower.
This is the cocky one who went off with Kristen Cole. He'll die.
Correct.
Dies.
And Wendy?
I think he's gonna live.
Okay. Any predictions?
No.
I think he's burned by a dragon.
And Wendy?
Nope, I have no prediction.
Okay. Speaking of Corlys' son, Alan of Hull, the new writer of Sea Smoke.
Not killing him off yet. He lives.
Okay. Jesse?
He lives.
And Wendy?
He lives.
All right. Any predictions?
No.
No.
I think he saves his brother.
Okay. Ulf White, the tavern drunk and writer of Silverwing.
Live.
Dies.
I'm gonna go with dies.
Okay. Any predictions for Ulf?
Yes, he will betray the Blacks.
Okay.
I say he's going to die due to his inexperience as a dragon rider. He's incompetent and it'll show.
And Wendy?
I like Christine's betrayal angle on him. That definitely tracks, but I have no prediction for him other than he dies.
Okay. Hugh Hammer, the blacksmith and writer of Vermithor.
I like him. He's gonna die.
Lives.
Okay.
He lives.
Okay. Any predictions for him?
When he dies, his wife will see it happen.
I
Okay.
think he does a heroic turn somehow. I know that's generic, but there's something heroic as a dragon rider. He's going to either turn the tide on a battle or save someone's life.
Okay. Wendy?
I think he's going to become a trusted advisor to Rhaenyra.
All right. Daeron Targaryen, who was mentioned and who we briefly saw supposedly on top of a dragon escorting the Hightower army. That's Alicent's youngest son, Daeron the Daring, who rides to Sirion.
Live. We gotta have a cute boy for the young girls on the green side. So yeah, live.
Lives.
And Wendy.
Lives.
Okay. Any predictions for him?
No.
Okay.
Nope, I got nothing.
Okay. What about Alice Rivers, the witch at Harrenhal?
I didn't see her at any of the trailers. Live.
Okay.
Lives.
Lives.
Okay. Any predictions for the predictor?
I think she's gonna give that sleepy potion to someone new.
Yeah, I don't have anything.
Okay. Wendy?
I hope I mentioned this earlier. I hope she gives it to Aemon.
Poisons. Aemon. Okay. Now the last 4 human characters are all new to the show, for season 3. So first up is Lord Ormond Hightower, who is the leader of the Hightower army and, portrayed by, British TV staple James Norton. Christine.
Not a lot to go on except what we saw in the trailers. He seems very together and knows what he's doing, so he's definitely gonna die.
Okay, Jesse.
Yeah, he's going to die by episode 3. Die early in this.
And Wendy.
Dies.
Okay. Any predictions?
No.
By episode 3, he'll be dead.
Okay.
Yeah, I have no specific prediction for him.
Okay. Next is Lord Roderick Dustin, who is the leader of the Winter Wolves, coming as support from the Starks, played by Tommy Flanagan.
My boy Tommy Flanagan!
Yeah.
Sorry. I used to call him that guy with the scars. And until I was like, that's rude. I gotta learn his name. And, lately he doesn't look like, those scars are not really shown anymore. It's nice. He's gonna die.
Okay. Jesse.
Yeah, I think he's going to die as well.
And Wendy.
I'm going to be contrarian and say he lives.
All right. Any predictions for the leader of the Winter Wolves?
I think that these Greybeards are going to be fantastic and entertaining. I am sure of it. Lord Roderick is going to die gloriously, and we will love it.
Yeah, that's my prediction too, is he lasts most of the season and dies in a heroic way, saving someone's life, doing something heroic. I think that's going to be, I don't think they'll waste Tommy Flanagan.
Wendy.
He might do those things, but not until next season. So he lives. And I think he might be a voice of moderation, contrarian to Rhaenyra.
Okay. Next, Sir Torrin Manderley. He is the head of House Manderley, and he's played by Dan Fogler.
This is the guy who played Jacob in the Fantastic Beasts movies.
Yes, exactly, the baker.
So I feel like he's stunt casting and he's gonna die.
Okay. Jesse.
I'm going to say lives.
And Wendy.
I'll say dies.
Okay. Any predictions for him?
Nope.
I think he ends up being part of the small council for Rhaenyra.
Okay. Small council and Wendy.
Nope, I have no prediction.
And the last of our humans, Princess Jaehaera Targaryen, which is Helena's youngest daughter.
Now, she's still a toddler, right? This is the one who didn't get her head cut off when the two guys came to assassinate them. Okay.
They cast an actress, so I don't know whether that's a case of magical aging up or...
Oh, I mean, you can be an actor when you're a toddler. Just a question of how good are you. I'm gonna say dies.
Okay. Jesse.
I think she's gonna live.
And Wendy.
I'll go with lives.
And any predictions for Jaehaera?
I think, however her death happens, it will feed bad PR for Rhaenyra.
I think she's going to end up having the second sight as well. She's going to inherit from her mother visions.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that.
Okay.
I'm going to steal that and say the same.
Okay. So that takes us through all our human characters. So now let's move on to the dragons, starting with Caraxes.
Ironically, even though I've killed off Daemon at this point, I think Caraxes will live.
Lives.
Okay.
Caraxes lives.
Okay. Syrax, Rhaenyra's dragon.
Also lives.
Lives.
Ooh, I'm going to say it dies.
Aw. Okay. Were there any predictions for those two?
Nah.
Okay.
No.
We didn't typically make a lot of dragon predictions, but feel free. Vhagar.
Live.
I'm going to do an audible and say dies.
Okay.
Lives.
Okay, and as we get to the end of these, if you guys have any predictions, just pipe up. So next is, again, controversially, Sunfire. So what I will do for this is, your live or die prediction will only matter depending on what it turns out is in the show. So let's assume for right now that he's still alive. So you can choose, does it survive the season or does he die by the end?
I'm going to combine this with my prediction. We will continue to be led to believe this dragon is dead already, as we were told multiple times.
And will be dead at the end of the season.
Yes, because the dragon
is
is already
dead.
Already dead.
Gotcha. Okay.
I'm going to say Sunfire lives.
Okay. Wendy.
I'm going to say Sunfire is dead, but if not, is going to die.
Okay. So is dead and stays dead. Dreamfire, Helena's dragon.
Live. Yeah.
Lives.
Dies.
Oh, okay.
And I have a prediction.
Oh, for, you have a prediction for Dreamfire?
I do. I think Dreamfire
Okay.
will continue to exist off screen.
Ah.
We have yet to see Dreamfire.
So we will not see
We will-
Helena ever ride Dreamfire.
No, I don't.
Okay.
We never
right.
see Dreamfire. At least not this season.
Okay. Moondancer, Baela's dragon.
Dies with Baela.
Jesse.
Lives.
Dies with Baela.
Okay. Sea Smoke, the dragon of Alan of Hull.
Lives.
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 Okay. Vermax, Jace's dragon.
Live.
Dies.
Dies.
Okay. Vermithor, the dragon of Hugh Hammer.
Dies.
Lives.
Lives.
Tessarion, the dragon of Darren the Daring.
Lives.
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 Okay. Silverwing, the dragon of Ulf White.
Lives.
Dies and ends up killing his own rider.
Dies.
Okay. And that brings us to our last dragon, the wild dragon of the Vale, Some people believe that's a dragon called Sheep Stealer, and some people believe that Rhaena may wind up on it. It kind of left us on a cliffhanger and undetermined at the end of the season, but feel free to make whatever predictions you want here, but whether that wild dragon will live or die.
Live.
Okay?
Lives.
Lives. But I think because Rhaena doesn't know what she's doing on it, she's going to kill a lot of small folk.
Damn. I just want to say that I believe Rhaena will get that dragon because it's a TV show, and if they wasted all of our time with her chasing that dragon only for her to not get on it, I'm leaving.
Okay, and that brings us to the end of our predictions. So I hope everybody's enjoyed listening to our Maesters. I chuckled quite a bit seeing some of these predictions, I can tell you that. I think we have a good variety of answers across the board to add some diversity to how things may play out and who may get the splendid prize at the end of the season. So with that, I will conclude my emceeing of the prediction category and turn it back over to you, Wendy.
Yay.
Thank you, Shannon. As always, that is just a ton of fun, and folks can play along as well. You can follow what we did. If you want the actual spreadsheet Shannon put together, I will happily send it to anyone who contacts us. And I can vouch for the prizes because I got an awesome water bottle from the nice metal one with a cool cap that's Game of Thrones-y. It was awesome.
Ooh.
So, yeah, Shannon did a great job. And with that, is there any final thoughts as we head into season 3? It sounds like Jesse's going to be doing a mainlining revisiting of the season. Any other pre-show rituals folks will be following?
Oh, I will say, I say this at the end of every season, but one of the great things they do, I mean, I have HBO and I have HBO Max, but for shows I really love, I always buy them on like 4K Blu-ray. And the presentation for House of the Dragon season 2 is just of the same high quality that all the Game of Thrones seasons were. No matter what you're streaming, the quality, if you watch it on 4K, is just astonishing. You can tell why it takes so long to render those dragons and do everything. And then the features and extras are out of this world with lores and histories and interviews and all the things we talked about on the episode recaps where they would show, I forgot what they call them, Building the Dragon or something like that. All those little documentary things are on there too. It's just a terrific thing. If you're a fan, I would highly encourage that.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say too, that not only do we get the joy of watching the new episodes and getting to talk about it every week among ourselves, but HBO does a great job of doing those behind the scenes, the little 3 or 4 minutes, and then the longer ones, and then the official Game of Thrones podcast, I always think is pretty good. They have some great interviews and some really fun insights. So they do a good job of packaging this and making it a full experience for us. And so I'm looking forward to the next few weeks and kind of being immersed in Westeros.
Now, isn't the host of those official podcasts, wasn't that Jason Concepcion, who used to be with The Ringer?
Yeah.
And because I think he hosted the first season or both seasons of the official podcast. So
yeah, I think they do a good job. Not as good as ours, but pretty good.
Yeah, they don't have Brent as their editor. If they did, it would finally get to that point. As you were talking about those, the house that dragons built, making of things, I was thinking about, that means we're going to get these amazing costumes to dive into and props and special effects. And, last year was really cool when they showed how I was thinking about the Night of the Seven Kingdoms with the puppets and all the work that went into creating the puppets. So I'm expecting some similar surprising insights by all the craftspeople that work on this show. And of course, I'm expecting some outstanding music to complement the drama.
Excellent. Yeah.
Okay. Well, with that, we are going to wrap things up for our pregame show. We want to thank you all for joining along and get ready for a very fun Dance with the Dragons over the next several weeks. We will see you again soon. Thank you.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
We'd love to hear our listeners voice thoughts and send us feedback. Call us at 706-927-8478. Stop by our tuningintoscifitv.com blog to record a SpeakPipe message, or check the show notes and leave us comments. From the blog, you can also find links to forum discussions and subscribe to our RSS feed. Call into our Tuning Into Sci-Fi TV Skype account and leave us a message. Be social with us on our Tuning Into Sci-Fi TV Facebook page, or follow us at Tuning Into Sci-Fi on Twitter.
You've been listening to Small Council Matters from Tuning Into Sci-Fi TV, episode 127, recorded June 16th, 2026.